Hello everybody, it's Danny from Deep South Homestead. We're back over at the cabin today. Guys, we need a buffer around our cabin. You can see we have woods all around behind us here, but there's one thing I've learned. You never know what a neighbor's going to do. So even though ours is cleared to the fence line, we need a buffer. And I have went and purchased these magnolias right here. We've got about 50 or 60 of them in the truck here. I think it's closer to 60. They're called the DD Blanchards. They're supposed to be really good, fast-growing magnolia trees. They're good for the wildlife, and I can plant them kind of close together and create a buffer around our cabin. Not only to keep a buffer for people not to be able to see in, but supposedly a thick leaf cover slows down 5G technology. So that's another reason we're looking at it. So we're going to try to go ahead and get these things put out, guys, because look, it's fixing to be Arbor Day in the South. Arbor Day is the second Friday in Mississippi. Each state is usually different. Now, there's a national Arbor Day, which usually falls toward the end of April. But here in South Mississippi, ours will fall on the second Friday of February because it gets too hot that time to plant trees later on. So that's our best tree planting time. So we're going to try to get the jump on these. These magnolias need to be in the ground while it's raining, and it is raining. I'm standing out in the rain now. So we're going to take the post hole diggers, and we're going to go out. We're going to put these about the nursery told me I could put them every 10 to 15 feet apart to create a good buffer zone, and they would do fine. So that's probably what we're going to do, is probably take that advice and do it. And they said they need to be planted on a day when it's raining and just keep them really watered. Guys, the magnolia has these things have a really good root system, and rather than destroy them and break them off, I'm trying to actually cut the plastic out from around them here so that I can take them out and not hurt the root system of the actual tree. So that's what I'm doing over there, is taking this root system off. I don't want to do it right here because I'm dropping the dirt away from it. Okay guys, we got 2 down, we got 58 more to go. So, you know, if you're going to plant trees in your life, I'm fixing to be 60 years old. They told me it'll take about 5 years for these trees to be, 10 feet tall. So, you're going to plant trees, do it while you're younger, and don't procrastinate, don't wait. Get these things out so that one day you can enjoy them. I'm looking forward to when I get older to be able to look out here and see a beautiful green, dark green background out here plenty of squirrels eating the fruits on them and stuff like that. So that's where I'm headed, guys. We're out here this morning. It's hovering right at freezing this morning, just maybe 1 degree above freezing. And we're moving trees. This is the time of the year to do it. We like to do it when it's sunny and cool like this. And this is our banana trees. Now we have a pile of banana trees. We're going to be putting them over around the candy corn cabin in different locations over there. We had them here at our regular house in a particular spot we thought was good, but it's just, even though these are tropical plants, the heat bouncing off the house was just too much for them on the south side of the house, and it just wasn't doing good. So we're going to move them over to the candy corn cabin and pick some locations over there. Not that we're looking to get bananas off of all of them, but we're looking for buffers. We're trying to create a buffer zone around our cabin to give it a permaculture, tropical kind of feel, where when we look out the window, all we see is just luscious green, tropical stuff, fruits growing. We're going to be putting in a bunch of fruit trees. Stay with us. We've got videos about that coming up. We're installing a bunch of magnolias. We've got videos on that. Guys, we're actively replanting our land and turning it into a permaculture forest, because we do believe in the future that that's going to be necessary in order to survive the things that are coming. So let's go get these in the ground. Nice tree. It's a big one first. Go ahead and get it over. Okay. Whew. Okay, guys, we're got our first banana tree in the ground. We're trying to pick locations here behind the candy corn cabin, because this is all forest land here behind us, and it is set to be cut in about 3 to 4 years. And when it's clear cut, I've seen it clear cut once in my life, and when it is, you can see for a mile across here. That's not something we really want to look at once it happens, when they destroy this forest. And so we figure if we can go ahead and get some banana trees, we have our magnolia trees and different things planted as a buffer along here. Hopefully in 2 to 3 years, or 4, whenever they cut this, all these trees will have grown up and will be pretty and big, and we won't have to look at the ugliness of where they come in and just rape the forest and clean it up and ruin it. So that's why we're planting these here. In this particular location, I have a fat pine lighter stump right here in the ground, right here. I couldn't get it up with my tractor because it's just too deep. So rather than run the risk of hitting it with a lawnmower or anything like that, what I'm going to do is plant this banana tree right beside it. And that way, as the banana tree spreads out, it'll kind of cover up that, and I won't have to worry about hitting it with a lawnmower deck and bending my deck in or something like that. So we've got our first tree in the ground. And guys, the banana trees, the roots aren't really deep on them. They kind of surface roots. They like it where it's kind of damp at. And right here where we're at on this hillside is good rich dirt. And it stays kind of damp over here on this hill. So we're hoping that in amongst the food forest here, that the banana tree will do good. I know it likes full sun, but we're going to try to grow it up underneath some of these other trees in here just as a buffer. So let's get this thing in the ground. Now we'll come back when we get all of our banana trees planted, and we'll bring some water over here and we'll water all these in all at once rather than trying to carry water around with us as we're going. when you're digging like this, you're going to always have all these roots. This is new ground. We didn't push off all of our topsoil. We just took off the bushes on the top. All right. All right, we have two of them in a row here. These things spread pretty good bit. The rule is you don't ever want over 2 to 3 of them in a clump if you want bananas, because they'll just get to have such a massive root system on them. They'll just be all sprouts, you know. So you can dig the sprouts up and you can replant them. They're not deep in the ground. They just sit right on top of the ground, basically, and they just got a bulb underground. And as long as you get that bulb in the ground and get some dirt over it, they usually root really easy. So that's kind of our thinking. We're going to keep them here and there. We'll let 3 or 4 of them get right here, 3 or 4 get right there. Like I said, we're not really looking for bananas from these. We're just basically looking for a buffer here to block the view when they cut the forest down. So that's kind of our thinking. We're going to continue moving on and plant a few more down below us here so that we can keep this buffer across the back here. You know, just don't move too fast. So stop. Because they know wild animals in the woods don't move very quick. They just, they'll take a step or 2 and then they'll just sit. That squirrel's not going to go anywhere until them birds go somewhere. That's just, I mean, they stand still. They don't just keep walking. The birds will just keep coming. That's the beauty of nature. Once you learn how it operates, you can basically walk right up to them. They won't pay you one bit of attention in the world. I've done it with deer. I've walked right up to deer where you can almost touch them. You know, these little birds, they don't pay no attention to nothing. The squirrel ain't paying no attention. It's not your voice that gets them. It's how you move. That's beautiful. Just beautiful. Here comes another squirrel right yonder in the woods right here. See him coming? There's so many. Oh, yeah, that's scratched. Yeah. He sees the other squirrel up here. He'll come over here. They're trying to figure out what's going on. There's plenty of food over here. We need to go over there and eat. Yeah, see him? He's a little more cautious. He's decided, you know what, let's go. Look at him. I'm going to get me some of that stuff too. We're only really about 15 feet, less than 15 feet. We're probably 12 feet from them. And, you know, they may run if we get a little bit closer. I don't know, you know, because you can take like one step at a time. It's when you get this close, a lot of times all it takes is one move and they'll run. But they may stay. I mean, who knows? Look at that. So many times I see this when I'm hunting in the woods. They'll come right up to you. There comes another in the woods right yonder. I see another squirrel coming. Look at him. Look at this. they'll all come up here and say, oh, you know what, I want some of that too. They're all just sitting there just eating away. And it's very possible that they're all from the same nest. You know, I mean, who knows? One of them wants to run the other one off. You always have that. There's always a bully in the bunch. Look at him. All right, guys, we're over here. We've got 2 cedar trees here now. We realize we're going to have apple trees right here beside this, and we can't have these type trees next to our apple trees because of the cedar rust virus. So we're going to go ahead and move these. These were originally put here for an entrance into the cabin, but we're deciding that we'd rather have something else for an entrance. We're going planting really deep with that auger. Probably gonna cut the bottom limbs off of them so that they don't have as much pulling on them. Okay, guys, we got the Carolina sapphires all planted out here in front of our house. We're kind of thinking about putting a buffer line across here of some evergreens to maybe block the noise from the barking dogs. But anyway, we got an old grapevine here that ain't really done anything. We're gonna take that up. And we're going to let these 2 Carolina sapphires go next to the red cedar here. The red cedar turned out to be a pretty tree. So we're going to put these 2 here. And it gives us a little bit more of a buffer from the road. And we kind of like that, you know, because the road's just right here. We got our cattle pasture behind it. And it's just a good buffer. So we're going to see if they'll live after moving them from being planted, you know, for a year there. Maybe they'll continue to grow. We're going to trim some of the bottom limbs off, so that there's not such a hard pull on it till it gets re-rooted, and kind of do it like we did the red cedar over there, where we can get under it with a lawnmower and continue to mow, and don't have to worry about hitting our head or anything, and it grows up to be a really pretty tree. What are you doing, Dolly girl? Where's your Candy? Candy? Oh, girl.